first segment will be the introduction to Japan.
Japan, a nation in East Asia, is an archipelago of 6,852 islands in the Pacific Ocean. It is a constitutional monarchy with Tokyo as its capital, and more than 99% of the population speak Japanese. The economy of Japan is the third largest in the world after the United States and the People's Republic of China. The economy of Japan is a highly developed free market economy. It is the third largest in the world by nominal GDP and the fourth largest by purchasing power parity. It is the world's second largest developed economy, and according to the International Monetary Fund, the country's per capita GDP was at $41,637. Due to a volatile currency exchange rate, Japan's GDP as measured in dollars fluctuates sharply. And accounting for this fluctuation through the use of the Atlas method, Japan is estimated to have a GDP per capita of around $39,048. The Japanese economy is forecast by the quarterly Tankan Survey of Business Sentiment conducted by the Bank of Japan. And in 2018, Japan was the world's fourth largest importer and the fourth largest exporter. It has the world's second largest foreign exchange reserve worth 1.3 trillion. Japan's main export consists of vehicles with 19.1% and machinery including computers with 19%, ships and boats with 1.7%, and lastly the electrical machinery and equipment with 16%. Firstly will be the mineral fuels including oil with 16.6%. Next we have machinery including computers with 10.6%. And lastly, pharmaceutical with 4.5%. The Japanese yen and the code JPY is the official currency of Japan. It is the third most traded currency in the foreign exchange market after the United States dollar and the euro. It is also widely used as the third reserve currency after the United States dollar and the euro. The word yen means circle or round object. The Japanese yen consists of 1,000 yen, 2,000 yen, 5,000 yen, and 10,000 yen banknotes. Meanwhile, the coins come in 1 yen, 5 yen, 10 yen, 50 yen, 100 yen, and 500 yen.
The next segment will be the theoretical review of the exchange rate of Japan.
Moving to the next segment is determinants of exchange rate in Japan. The determinants of exchange rate in Japan is interest rate. An interest rate can be defined as cost to borrow money or return for lending the money. Although typically referred as point in finance lingo, the amount of interest rate should be in percentage. Moving on to the next factor is money supply. Money supply can be defined as the total of money in circulation that involves the currency, printed money or other liquid assets in the country or in a monetary union in a group of countries. The next factor is gross domestic product or GDP. It can be defined as the total of the monetary amount of a country's all the produced goods and services that were sold in the market during the typical time span of 1 year. It is important as it provides the information of the economy size and how it's performing. The last factor is current account balance. One of the components under balance of payment is current account balance that consisted the trade balance, net factor income, and net cash transfer. The value of the activities above were measured in domestic currency. The next discussion is empirical evidence. Based on the descriptive statistics of determinants of the exchange rate, the table below shows the highest mean at the figure of 94.6313 is exchange rate, while the lowest is interest rate at 2.0344. For standard deviations, exchange rate recorded the highest amount at 15.96112, while GDP is at the lowest 0.01642.
Konnichiwa. Now we move to the data analysis. First, correlation. In statistics, correlation defined as a statistical relationship, whether causal or not, between two random variables. For the Japan, the correlation between the interest rate and exchange rate is 0.836. This is referred to as a positive correlation. As a result, we conclude that as interest rate increase, the exchange rate of Japanese yen will increase as well. For the correlation value for gross domestic product, seems to be negative 0.242, while broad money is negative 0.541, and the current account balance is negative 0.127. These three variables demonstrate a negative correlation with the exchange rate. This means that as the value of these three variables increases, the value of exchange rate in Japanese yen will be decreases. Okay, now we move to the multiple regression, which is model summary. R square is equal to 0.806. This means that the current account balance, interest rate, gross domestic product, and broad money explain approximately 80.6% of the exchange rate in Japanese yen, while the adjusted R square value is 0.767, which represents 76.7% in the exchange rate of Japanese yen. The dependent variable is slightly explained by the independent variable. For the coefficient, we can examine the coefficient using the significance level, which is 0.05. If the significance is greater than 0.05, we must reject the null hypothesis. However, if the significance level is less than 0.05, the null hypothesis is accepted. The result indicates that gross domestic product, broad money, and current account balance hypotheses are not supported, as the p-value is greater than the significance level of 0.05, requiring the rejection of the null hypothesis. For the interest rate, the null hypothesis is supported because the p-value is less than the significance level of 0.05, and the null hypothesis is accepted. And the last one is for ANOVA. ANOVA stands for Analysis of Variance. The p-value for f-test is equal to 0.01, which is less than the level of significance of 0.05. As a result, the null hypothesis is rejected. This means that the current account balance, interest rate, gross domestic product, and broad money are all statistically significant variables in explaining the variation in the Japanese yen's exchange rate.